All right, so personal characteristics, all right? These are things, attitudes that we need to kind of work on and develop in ourselves, all right? So what I want you to know is that there are certain kind of attitudes and characteristics that are going to apply to all health occupations, all right? And all really areas where professionalism is required in general, okay? And some of us will have some of these naturally in us, and some of us will not, all right? There'll be other ones where we tend to struggle. And just so you guys know, that is completely and perfectly normal, all right? Because these are characteristics and attitudes that really need to be practiced and learned, all right? So we don't naturally have an, say, inclination for patience. That's okay, all right? But being able to know that that's important, it's an important trait in healthcare, and that we have to try to work on that and incorporate that into our own personality, all right? Because that's going to be our goal. So learning these traits and then being able to incorporate them into our personality and our personal makeup, okay? So you really should make every effort to develop these characteristics and attitudes. All right, so the first one is empathy. All right, so to be able to identify with and understand another person's feelings, situation, and motives. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to write that one down because that's kind of the definition. All right, so empathy, again, is to be able to identify with and understand another person's feelings, situations, and motives, all right? Really understanding where a person is coming from, okay? It's kind of like putting yourself in the other person's shoes, all right? This is not the same thing as sympathy, all right? So I want you guys to listen up because my students had a really hard time with this in the past, all right? So sympathy is when you actually share the same feelings, situation, and motives, right? You actually share those same feelings. And this would be like you and a family member losing a dog or something like that, and that hurts, right? And you both are experiencing and sharing the same feelings, okay? Empathy is not, okay? But it is the ability to understand where another person is coming from, okay? So being able to identify and understand, really important there, okay? You know, we're working with people and we're caring for people. So we have to have a sincere interest in doing that, all right, to do the best job possible. Okay. Empathy also requires that you know, are able to communicate in a positive, effective manner. And we will learn that as well. I believe that's coming up next. All right. So honesty. All right, most of us know what this is: truthfulness, integrity, right? Being able to be trusted at all times, all right? And because you're in a service industry, people need to be able to trust you, all right? And they need to know that you're dependable, reliable, and honest, okay? Humility is key here, all right? So being able to realize when you've made mistakes and being able to admit that, all right, that's huge because that's really the only way you can learn from them and grow from them. All right, so truthfulness and integrity, honesty. All right, so dependability. All right, being able to be counted on, accepting the responsibility that that position requires. All right, and that can change. Whatever that responsibility is can change, guys. It can change dependent on the job, all right, or what that person's asking you to do or needing you to do, all right? But you need to be able to be counted on that you're actually going to do it, and you're going to do everything that is necessary and requires to do, okay? So this involves being prompt, all right, and reacting, being present, all right, showing up, putting forth your best effort, and being on time, punctual, okay? And then when you do the job, making sure that, or the skill, all right, that it's done accurately, all right, and with precision. You wanna do the best job that you can, all right. So that's dependability. Willingness to learn, all right. Willingness to learn pretty much says what it is. You always have to be willing to learn and grow, all right. And this is really, really huge, okay, because without willingness to learn, you're going to have a hard time adapting to change. And that is one of the things that's required, all right, especially in medicine, because technological advances are occurring, every day. So you have to be ready and you have to be willing to do what's required when that change occurs, all right? And that could be learning new techniques, procedures. It could be literally them changing the way you're doing things, all right? So a boss or, um, anybody teaching you, all right? Supervisor, could be a coworker, all right? So always be willing to, learn and keep learning, all right? And then the reason why we want to keep learning is because, in healthcare, it requires that you maintain a competent level of knowledge and skills. You're going to hear that word a lot, competence. Patience. All right. Now this one I definitely struggle with. All right. You guys already know I can go from A to Z. Before you know it is one thing I know that I'm learning and growing in. All right. So I'm still growing and learning in this stage. But patience. All right. Patience requires, let's go back to our mindfulness lesson, the ability to slow down your thoughts, right? Slow down your reactions. All right, being able to control your emotions and be tolerant and understanding. All right, what if you're in a position where, you're caring for a patient who's just suffered from a stroke and is relearning to walk? All right, you're gonna have to be extremely patient in that case. All right. What about if, you have a patient who has accidentally used the bathroom on themselves, all right, and you need to take care of that. So being patient, all right, very, very important. What about if you have a patient who is just very unhappy in their situation, all right, and they're taking their frustration out on you and just not being very nice, all right? You're going to see that, all right? People are dealing with a lot of issues, all right? But you need to be able to deal with your frustration, right, and your aggravation in that moment, okay, or your anger in that moment, whatever it may be that you're experiencing. You need to be able to deal with that, all right, and know how to overcome it, all right, so that you don't do anything that could cost you the job or, cause you to live with some regret, all right? So patience, very important. Acceptance of criticism. This one's a huge one, guys, right? Not all criticism is bad criticism, okay? There's good criticism. And when that happens, we have to be willing to learn from it, all right? So criticism that's coming from a positive place, all right, is constructive criticism, all right? And that's always that is always something that is going to make you better and allow for improvement and growth, all right? Just think a coach. I think naturally athletes are better at dealing with this just because they're used to being coached with each little thing that they do and, coached to make improvements, all right? And they have to be willing to accept, hey, I'm not doing this right. I could be doing it better. So let's do it, all right? And not looking at it like it's coming from a negative place. So being able to accept and learn from criticism, right? Because everybody can improve. And we should always really strive to do so. Enthusiasm, all right? So displaying a positive attitude. So either you're seeing the glass half empty or you're seeing the glass half full, all right? So people who tend to be mood changers, all right? Those people that come in the room and can literally make everybody feel better. My husband falls in that category. He really has a gift, all right? So just maintaining a positive attitude, even when you're not feeling the best or you're having a tough day, okay? But being able to stay positive, all right? Because that's contagious, all right? So if you start thinking about that and start focusing on your positive points, it's going to be contagious to you, but it's also going to be contagious to the people around you, all right? And when you focus on the positive, the negative won't seem so bad, all right? Self-motivation or self-initiative. And I can't even stress this one enough, all right? So this is, if you, just to break it down, would be like doing something that needs to be done without someone telling you to do it, all right? So doing something that needs to be done without having to be told to do it. All right. So in a little more complicated terms, it's the ability to begin or follow through with a task. All right. So you have to be willing to start and follow through. All right. And being able to do that without constant direction from somebody else. All right. I think about my 8-year-old. It's his job to take out the garbage. And I don't understand why he cannot realize that the garbage is full. No, he needs to wait till mom realizes that the garbage is full to tell him. All right. But it's his job. He's not showing self-initiative. He's not showing self-motivation. All right. And noticing that the garbage needs to be taken out and doing it because he knows that that's his job. All right. So it's something that we're all learning, right? We're all getting better at every day. All right. So setting goals for yourself, but not only setting goals, because everybody could do that, right? It's working to reach those goals. All right. So remember, it's the small, consistent steps that count. That is where we're going to stop for today. So to be continued.